Hello, my name is Connie Silva, and I'm the project director at the State Performance Plan Technical Assistance Project, or SPP-TAP. This is one of 4 recordings introducing you to significant disproportionality. This series of recordings is foundational to understanding what significant disproportionality is, why your LEA has been identified as significantly disproportionate, and of course, why this work is so important. So the content of this recording is particularly relevant for LEAs who are newly identified as significantly disproportionate and do not currently have a SIM for SIG plan. So you might have a SIM plan, but not one for significant disproportionality. And if you are someone who district has been identified previously, but the work is new to you, this is also a good recording for you to view, just to know, again, information around our project. So in this recording, Dr. Susan Stewart, who is our program manager at SPP-TAP, and I will introduce you to the supports available to significantly disproportionate LEAs. And we will also take you through your next steps as you embark on your journey to address the inequities that are negatively impacting the children with disproportionate outcomes in your LEA. So this project is funded by the California Department of Education, and it is run through a contract with the Napa County Office of Education. And let me introduce you to our team. As I said, I'm the project director. You're going to hear from Susan Stewart, our program manager, in a minute. And then we also have Kian Lauser, who's our technical assistance manager, Jen DeShazer, who's our systems coordinator, and Davina Gallen, who's our administrative assistant. So if you see any of these names in your mailbox, you're hearing from SPP-TAP. And we have great group of folks who've been very, very helpful in this journey. So we're going to take a moment now to talk about the why behind this work. Why does this matter? LEAs are identified on special education data, but addressing the factors that contribute to disproportionality is a shared whole LEA responsibility. So you're going to be exploring systemic issues that result in the disparate outcomes for your students based on race and ethnicity, and this will involve your general education staff as well as special education. The approach to systemic work should begin with the why. And this video, developed by the Californians Dedicated to Education Foundation, helps ground us in our shared why. So we're going to take a moment just to watch this short video.
I would like to become a pediatric physical therapist so I can help kids.
I want to apply to UCLA and major in psychology.
I want to be an entrepreneur and start my own clothing brand.
I'm hoping to go to a four-year college and major in architecture.
I want to be an animator.
I want to practice law. I want to help either in civil law or immigration law, because those are the things that I see that are needed in my community to move forward.
It is completely true that all students have the ability to succeed. And the only reason students are not succeeding is because they are not close enough to the opportunities that will allow them to succeed.
Education was not built for everyone, and that's the problem. And until we really start looking at that reasons behind it and look at all the isms that play into the classroom, we truly can't do what we need to do for all children.
Oftentimes, the adults and the system around us are blaming the kids for their failures. What our work is about is looking at the system around the student that is producing these outcomes.
Students that go through different things such as homelessness, foster care, even people who migrate to this country or move states needs more support to just go through the education system, because they have to deal with coping with what happened to them or is happening to them.
Newcomers and English language learners, I feel like they don't get enough support.
What I think of what stood in the way of my success is the student-to-teacher ratio. I wouldn't say I didn't learn anything, but if I needed one-on-one help, I didn't always get it.
As you can see, I'm a Black woman, and obviously like the system was not constructed for like people of color to succeed. So every day I felt like I had to struggle extra hard to succeed in my classes.
We really have an opportunity to do better and to see students from a really asset-based lens, and it's really on us as adults and on the system to change the policies and practices and procedures that we are implementing that further perpetuate structural racism and the gaps that we see.
Some students come to us needing more. There are deficits of learning by the time they get to us because of that structural racism. They don't have the supports. Their needs aren't being met by their communities. And so we have to overcome all of that and catch them up and advance them.
Educational equity, ultimately it's when every child has the opportunity to succeed in education, regardless of race, regardless of zip code, regardless of color, regardless of ethnicity, where every child has an opportunity to succeed.
So how can we do everything that we can to meet the child where they are? That's what equity is.
And so we have to be willing in our system to give more to those who need more when they need it.
Students, parents, and families are in classrooms every day, so who better to determine what solutions are than the folks who are closest to what's actually happening every day?
We should always listen to students. And we should always ask students what is happening for them and what are their ideas and what are their needs.
It can start by focusing on a small group of students who are experiencing success, and we can do this by listening to their stories, understanding the communities they're from, asking their feedback. And if we do this and we identify their needs, it'll actually build the capacity of the system to impact the whole.
We need more resources in school specifically that serves Black and brown students, because these students have to work extra hard and do like double the work just to succeed.
For me, having a trusted adult at the school is very helpful because then you always have someone to talk to here.
I think it would be helpful if the teachers got to know me more and like interact with the students.
If you look at the kids that have stuff going on at home and stuff and you put in the work to help them, then it can really change their lives.
I stress myself out, so I feel like there should be therapists at each school because it can really help kids.
Especially first-generation college students need more support on what to expect in their future college experience and how to navigate through all that.
It's the ways our systems are set up, like it's very segregated by like neighborhood and race, class, ability. And if we make policies to like integrate schools, not just like physically, but economically, then it will just better the education system for everyone.
What we're seeing more and more today is that belonging and equity are connected. You cannot produce a curriculum, a policy, a treatment of people in a disparaging way if you feel like they belong. You just can't do it. We have to move people to see that other children making it means their child is making it. And if somebody's child is not making it, it means their child is not making it. That's a hard turn for people to make, but that's what's required for people to see that equity is in all of their interests.
We need to actually put our money where our mouth is and resource and invest in education so that we can achieve the outcomes that equity envisions.
I know we will be successful. It's not going to come tomorrow, unfortunately, and it will be a battle, but we will eventually get what's needed in order to truly educate all of our children, regardless of where they live.
Thank you for taking a moment to watch that. Now I'm going to pass it on to Susan, and she's going to take you through the next part of this recording.
Thank you, Connie, for sharing with us about the why. So how do we get from the why of the work to the what of the work? As you learned in the first introduction to significant disproportionality recording, there are federal remedies to ensure that we make changes for equitable education for our students. And this work is part of CDE's monitoring structure. You can see on the pyramid here that at the very base levels, there's the level 1 or the universal supports and monitoring. At the second level, we have the targeted supports and monitoring. And then finally, at the third level, we have the intensive monitoring and supports. And that is where you'll find significant disproportionality. And as part of the SIM process, local educational agencies who are identified as being significantly disproportionate are going to complete a SIM process, but it's specifically for SIGDIS. As a part of that process as well, it's really important to identify specific individuals to be a part of the work. We're asking you to identify 2 to 3 representatives from your LEA to participate in these meetings. The required attendees are cabinet level administrators in general and special education. In particular, the superintendent or their designee should attend all of the meetings. We found that having a superintendent or their designee involved in the work makes a difference in the quality of the planning as well as the effectiveness of the implementation of Comprehensive Coordinated Early Intervening Services, or CCIS. Because the work includes a significant financial investment by the LEA, it's important that a fiscal representative be involved from the initial assurances document to the planning of the activities and budgets. Because the CCIS are almost exclusively conducted in general education, it's very useful for the Director of Curriculum and Instruction, as well as the Student Services Lead to contribute to and guide the work. And in addition, it's helpful to have a SELPA director or representative involved in your work. Many of the SELPA directors have worked with other LEAs who are SIGDIS, so they have insights from their experiences with other LEAs. They also may be able to provide regional supports. It's also important to note that CCIS funding is connected to the special education resources that the LEAs are allocated and that are distributed by the SELPA. So it's important that the SELPA director is informed and participates in these meetings. Now, you're not alone. SPP-TAP provides a number of supports for you. At the very base level, we have general supports that are not only helpful for SIGDIS LEAs, but also for other LEAs who are doing equity work throughout California and even the nation. On our website, there are tools specific to significant disproportionality, as well as references to the federal regulations and the guidance that inform CDE and the LEAs about the expectations for CCIS. The website also provides access to nearly 40 webinars that are presented by SPP-TAP with national and state experts in the field. And in addition, the website contains a searchable resource library with over 350 resources on topics related to significant disproportionality and equity. At the second level of supports, SIGDIS LEAs are provided virtual and face-to-face meetings and workshops. These meetings are instructing LEAs about the 4-step process for developing and implementing a SIM for SIGDIS plan for improvement with an equity lens. Concrete how-tos as well as discussions about the fundamentals of CCIS are shared with LEAs in these meetings. So they're very valuable meetings to attend. Another resource that's available to LEAs as they embark on the 4-step process for making systemic changes to ensure equitable outcomes for all students are the technical assistance facilitators. In the introductory meeting, you will hear about the role of the TA facilitator and how they can help you dig deep to unearth the root causes of your disproportionality and identify strategies that will help your LEA to see those equitable outcomes move from the paper of the plan to a reality within the lives of the students for which you have been identified as being significantly disproportionate. Periodically, SPP-TAP will hold community of practice meetings to adjust trends and issues that pop up for LEAs as they make and implement their plans for improvement. And finally, LEAs who need additional support to realize changes to their systems to reduce their disproportionality are provided individualized technical assistance. Your Center for All Things Significant Disproportionality is the SPP-TAP website. It's just spptap.org. And I recommend that you bookmark the Significant Disproportionality page on SPP-TAP.org so you have ready access to all of the information that's specific to LEAs identified as having significant disproportionality in 2024. And you can see on the screen that we've taken a screenshot of that page, and 2024 has been highlighted, and all the information that's relevant to those who are identified in 2024 will be under that tab. Let me tell you a little bit more about the SPP-TAP TA facilitators. These TA facilitators have been selected through a request for application process and then have been vetted by the California Department of Education Special Education Division. They've also been provided updates on federal and state expectations through SPP-TAP. We have meetings with them periodically throughout the year so that they have the most recent information, both from any changes in the federal regulations or guidance thereof, or in relation to CDE's process for addressing significant disproportionality. CDE has found that this TA facilitation support is so valuable that they are providing funds to provide a minimum of 10 hours of TA facilitator time at no cost to the LEA. To help you access the CDE-funded TA facilitator supports, SPP-TAP will reach out to the LEAs to schedule a meeting to discuss TA facilitator selection and arrange for a meeting between the LEA and the TA facilitator in order to develop an MOU, or a Memorandum of Understanding, that will be used for those CDE-funded technical assistance hours. Once the CDE-funded supports are expended, you will be able to get additional SPP-TAP TA support through a contract directly with the TA facilitators themselves. So the LEAs can contract for those TA facilitators at a capped rate of $110 per hour for plan development activities. And now I'm going to turn it over to Connie to talk to us about what to expect in our shared journey.
Thank you, Susan. Yes, so we're just going to spend a little bit of time talking about what comes next. And before we do that, another moment here, we want to hear directly from a parent that has been involved in this CSACE work within a district. So you're going to listen to Shakira Reynolds, who's a parent from West Contra Costa Unified School District, and hear what she has to say about this process.
My name is Shakira Reynolds, and I am a mother of 2 boys who are both on the autism spectrum, and we are a family in West Contra Costa Unified School District. I am the chair of the district's DLCAPS committee. I'm a member of their Black Parents Advisory Committee and also a member of the Community Advisory Committee on Special Education. I, like any other parent, want my children to live long, healthy, full lives. I want them to reach the fullness of their potential. And when systems do not examine how their own bias affects the experience of children, then we're in some way dooming them to failure from the beginning. And it's not that Black boys don't need support services. Of course they do. But if we're not looking at how why and how are these designations disproportionate? Is this human error? Is this the error of testing? Is this cultural bias? Is this racism? How are we examining ourselves as a system and as a society to make sure that we are best serving everyone and that we're making space for the difference in the way that people move through the world, what their cultural norms are, what their life experiences are, what it is a requirement, it's a necessity, it's an emergency that we fix this and we right this ship so that the children who need the help and assistance can get it, and that it's not always an emotionally disturbed special education designation, but that we're meeting children where they are and giving them what they need. And that's an issue of equity, and it is our charge, it's our responsibility to do the best that we can for our neediest and most vulnerable children. And this is one of the places where we must start, where we have to look ourselves in the mirror and really see what we're doing wrong and fix it. We have to.
Again, thank you to Shakira. It's always wonderful to hear a parent's perspective, and you will definitely be engaging with parents in your LEA as you embark on this work around the development and implementation of a plan to address significant disproportionality. So let's take a look at the timeline for what you will be doing. You were identified in March this month, so immediately you are beginning that plan development process, and you have those months in between here, and just describe a little bit about what's going to happen during that time. You will be selecting a TA facilitator, as Susan said, and we'll describe that a little bit more. And then you have submission dates to CDE. So the first one is July 8th. Well, you will submit information on what we call step 1. Then in October, on October 15th, you will submit information tied to step 2. And then finally in December, by the 22nd of December, you will submit your plan for improvement, which is step 3 of this SIM process. So that CSACE budget has a 27-month period. And so LEAs will be implementing their plan from the time that they get approval, written approval from the CDE, until the end of the SIM period, which actually goes all the way through 2026. Because the budget is 27 months, you'll have to expend all of the funds by September 30th of 2026. And there are additional student tracking responsibilities, but you will learn more about that as we embark on all of the journeys and the supports that we provide to you. In terms of implementation and monitoring, as I mentioned, the plan would be submitted to CDE by December 22nd of 2024, and you will be reporting on your progress, both in terms of the work that's being done and the expenditures that are being used for that work. The first time that you'll be reporting to CDE in a written format will be April 10th of 2025, and from there on out, it will be quarterly. And this will go until September 30th of 2026. Again, that's the final date for having the funds expended. And then January 10th is when your final report would be given to CDE for the completion of your SIM process. One of your first next steps is sharing your participant contacts with SPP-TAP. Susan described the meetings that we'll be having. Some of those are virtual meetings, some of those are in-person meetings, but the folks that should be involved in those meetings she described earlier, we want to make sure we have the correct contact information for your superintendent, your special education director, your fiscal lead, any folks that are involved in the SIGDIS work, so that lead or leads that would be involved in this work, your SELPA director, and any other pertinent LEA team members that you want to make sure are informed of the events that we're providing. So you can see Davina Gallon's email is on the screen. It's dgallon, Gallon, at napacoe.org. One of your other next steps, again, as Susan mentioned, would be that selection of a TA facilitator. Now, we are going to reach out to you, and we will definitely be meeting with you about this, but you can already go on our website, SPP-TAP.org, and take a look at those TA facilitators, get an idea of who's a good match for you, and you're also welcome to reach out to them immediately if you would like to. Their contact information is on the website. So we will have some events, some required workshops. So these are things that you'll want to make sure to put on your calendar so you have these dates saved. First, I want to talk about, there will be our virtual meeting. That's for everyone. Again, it's virtual on April 2nd. You will get an invitation for that and register for that event. And all of those people that we talked about that should be involved in that event will expect registrations from them. Then we will have 6 different in-person regional training. So you're only to attend one of these, but we gave you the dates so you could take a look at your location and have the dates available. We will be in Red Bluff on April 11th. We will be in Concord on April 16th. We'll be in Sunnyvale on April 18th. We will be in Fresno on April 19th. And then we'll be in Pasadena on April 24th and in Orange County in the city of Orange on April 25th. Okay, so again, you would be attending one of those with your team members. And it's your choice which one you attend, but we're hoping one of them is, again, close enough to you. These will not be full day events. They are about 4 hours. We will again send you invitations so you have the specifics for those. And then on June 11th is another virtual workshop that will be on step 2 information. So again, that's down the road and we'll be talking about that later, but we want to make sure that you have as much notice for these events as possible. And as always, this information is also on our website, so you don't have to come back and find this recording to get this. You will find it on our SPP-TAP.org website. That was a lot of information. I thank you for listening to this recording. Of course, you can watch it again at any time. Please share it with your other team members that need to have this information as well. And as a reminder, please view the remaining recordings. There are 4 of them in this introduction to significant disproportionality. And again, go to the website if you need more information, and you can see our contact information for both myself. My email is csilva@napacoe.org, and also for Susan Stewart, slstewart@napacoe.org. Thank you. Bye-bye.